So, the Warhammer 3 trailer just dropped a day ago, and I remember waking up to the notification on my phone and I had the biggest smile on my face as I watched the trailer, and I'm pretty sure most people had the same reaction. So, without wasting any time, we're going to jump right in. So, we start off with a cart full of corpses of fallen Kislevites, already showing us how bleak the situation is in the Warhammer world. Then we cut to a hooded figure walking into a tent, which we later found out to be an old mate advisor from the first and second game, which I'm fine with personally, but I usually just shut. But I know people that hate him with passion. Right off the bat, we see the Ice Guard. They were first introduced to us as concept art for the playable Kislev faction in the upcoming Warhammer the Oldville tabletop. They're making an appearance here as well, it seems, as a possible elite unit for the Kislev roster. We then see Katerin the Ice Queen, Tsarina of Kislev, reading a letter from her father, Boris Boka, the former Tsar of Kislev. This appears to be his final letter to Katerin after he got sick and tired of chaos bullshit and said fuck it and took the fight straight into the chaos race, leaving Katerin as his successor. He also appears to be the voice narrating the beginning of the video as Katerin reads his letter. The next scene shows the four chaos gods, Nurgle, Slaanesh, Tzeentch and Khorne, confirming that there will be four factions aligned with their respective gods and led by one of their champions. And Sia did great with the cinematography and the models here, especially Papa Nurgle with all those maggots crawling in his mouth. Ugh. The next scene is packed with a lot of stuff, so bear with me here. And we finally see what we've all been waiting for, the Polar Bear Cavalry. They're once again taking inspiration from the concept art for Warhammer the Old World. And then, just a second later, we see the Winged Lancers, another important cavalry unit for the Kislevites. And I'm assuming they're going to get their own regiments of renown. The Sons of Urson and the Griffin Legion. I think those are the two regiments of renown for these guys. Now we get to take a look at the Demons of Chaos, more specifically Khorne, the god of rage and slaughter. We see a few Khornite juggernauts facing off against the Winged Lancers. They're probably going to be heavy cav units, so expect them to be expensive and slow, but very strong. We then see a Kislev soldier getting absolutely wrecked by bloodletters. And then, the big finale was Katerin facing up against a freaking bloodthirster. God damn, he looks badass. Now I'm gonna hazard a guess and say this is gonna be a new hero type for the Khornite roster, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was a generic lord or just a monstrous unit. And then we get to see swords, shields and spears and other weapons being pushed aside as the Warhammer 3 title shows up. And I gotta say, I'm really digging the new metallic look for the title. But that wasn't it. We get a final scene right after the title reveal, which appears to be back in the Ice Queen's tent where we were at moments ago. The advisor moves a few scrolls and letters to show a map of Cathay, and of course his shit-eating grin as he looks directly at the camera, pretty much saying, "You didn't see that coming, did you?" To be fair, not many people thought Cathay would even get a mention in the announcement trailer for Warhammer 3. Yet, here we are. This pretty much confirms that Grand Cathay will be a base game faction, which is super exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what CA and Games Workshop come up with for these guys, since they have little to no lore at all. So the game will be out somewhere in late 2021, probably in September, since that's when Warhammer 2 was released. That's pretty much it for the trailer. Now I'm going to move on to the FAQ and Steam page because that reveals a bit more info. So if you look at the FAQ, it's confirmed that we're getting 6 playable factions from the get-go, with them being the forces of Nurgle, Slaanesh, Tzeentch and Khorne, plus Kislev and Cathay, with 9 legendary lords. Both the Steam page and the FAQ tells us there's going to be pre-order incentive called the Early Adopter Bonus, which is confirmed to be a race pack, meaning another faction and a few more legendary lords to add to our list. They could either go for 2 or 3 lords here. Now there's only 3 realistic candidates for the pre-order DLC spot, that being the Dawizar or Chaos Dwarves, the Ogre Kingdoms, and the Dogs of War. I'm personally inclined to lean more towards the Dogs of War, as pre-order DLC factions tend to also show up in the previous game, similar to how Norsca was for Warhammer 1 and 2, and we already have the Southern Realms, Stalia, Tylea, and the Border Princes, plus the colonies around the New World. So there's plenty of unique start positions for the Dogs of War if they are to be added. But CA could also use this opportunity to give us one of the 2 major players in the Darklands that is missing from base game right now, and we have been moving closer and closer towards the east in Warhammer 2. If we go back to the trailer for a bit, we get to see 3 statues on the map in the final scene. The blue representing the Ice Queen, the red representing Khorne, and the green representing the Dragon Emperor of Cathay. This could be revealing the start positions of these factions in the main campaign for Warhammer 3, with Khorne starting right outside the Great Bastion, pretty much the Great Wall of China in Warhammer. Kislev starting in the mountains where the Ogre Kingdoms are meant to be, so maybe they are the pre-order DLC. And Cathay starting, well, in Cathay. Overall, amazing trailer and great build-up with those constellation teasers we got in the last few days, and just the fact that Cathay is going to be in base game is pretty much guarantees that we'll eventually see Ind and Nippon, and maybe even Araby. Anyway, I'd like to hear your thoughts, and I'll leave the links to the trailer and the FAQ in the description. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you all soon.